Hi, and welcome to the first day of scripting your dream life into existence. So I wanted to create an introduction video where you're going to understand more the concepts of manifesting. Manifesting has so many roots, so many branches, and it is just such an extensive, complicated laws. It's not just one law, it's like multiple laws that kind of interact and work on your behalf. Of course, you have to understand that we've been conditioned very differently by society, by the governments, and then all of this has been taught to our ancestors, and it's just kind of like a thing that continues. You, I think more so in the late 1800s and the early 1900s, we had these super beings just come into this world and gift us so many lessons. Neville Goddard was taught by Abdullah. You have Napoleon Hill. Just these masters that really took the knowledge that was very secret and try to work it in to teaching us these different forms and methods. I'm constantly studying the law of attraction and all the different, the law of assumption, the law of decision making, because we have been conditioned to think that we are powerless, that we cannot manipulate the energies, that we cannot to alter our realities, and then we're living in this constant state of lower vibrations, of wars, of chaos, and we kind of like it's almost like we soak in that energy. Think about looking at a very dirty puddle and getting inside of it. I want you to grasp that. How does that make you feel? Just thinking about it. A nasty, negative puddle full of the worst things that you could imagine, just in there, and then you just sitting in it, soaking it up, and just sitting there like, that's the energy. That's the energy that we're around. So just like the lotus that is in that gunk and that mud, and it comes out and emerges into this beautiful, vibrant, bright blossom, that's what we as humans are doing. We're just coming out of that gunk, coming out of that, emerging from that the murkiness, the not being able to see, and just finding the light, and coming out and blooming, full bloom. That is what we're doing. Just, so what I do is I'm constantly working on my life, constantly working on my experiences. And I have, especially these last 3 years, I've had a lot of chaos. I feel like it's gotten like a little more intense. You guys know my story. If you're on my Patreon, you hear me talk about it all the time. Everything that I'm going through. Example, this week because I do have like a heart condition, high blood pressure, so there's times that I get my energy so low because my body, that I can't even talk. It's like I have shortness of breath. I don't know if you've heard like Julia Childs, the way she talks, she has to like get her breath. It's almost like that type of energy. And even through that, I'm just like, no, I'll take the vitamins, I'll take a day off, and like I'm play catch up a lot on my work. And I feel like this is why Spirit is pushing me into a whole new direction. Here I am in front of you in a kind of like a different format, right? So what we're going to be talking about today is your decision and the power of your decision. If you are here in the beginning, you probably saw my YouTube video where I talk about you deciding what it is that you desire, and then taking the initial steps in alignment to your decision. Of course, like I expressed in the introductory module, I share with you my experiences. Of course, I also share with you experiences from my participants, my clients, my children, just people that I come across that use what I have been working with, or stories from, masters And what I want you to do is take these stories, but then learn from the outcomes, the metaphors, and then put yourself in that type of scenario so you could understand exactly what it is that you have to take action on. Now, I always tell you guys, I don't sugarcoat things. I don't tell you it's easy peasy, because it's not. Because if it was easy, we would have done this decades ago, a century ago. We wouldn't. But I do feel, I feel like Eckhart Tolle, talked about the new earth. I feel like we're going into this conscious state of emergence where we are transcending into this new earth. And so many of us are seeing the light, we're seeing the energy, we're feeling the good feeling. So even though outside is chaos and murders and killings, and we're just sending them love and healing, because that's what we could do, right? Because our energy is so powerful. And we understand that war is not the way, hate is not the way, anger, resentment, guilt, just that negative energy that people do to each other is not the way. So I don't want to get off track. I just want to share with you that the best way for you to come out, better through these dark times that everybody likes to call, is by finding your light and emanating your light and sharing your light. If you could donate and do stuff like that, then that's wonderful. But a lot of you cannot. So by falling into that, and I talked about this in the Language of Money live that I did a couple days ago, because somebody was very focused on the war that's going on, and I guess maybe she has family there, and she was really you could feel her energy, really feeling it, a lot of that kind of what can I do, So my advice, my spiritual advice, and wisdom from above, is to send light, to send love, to send blessings. And if you are doing good, if you're doing radiant, if you are building and you're abundant and you're prosperous and you're healthy, you could share that. You could do so much. But if you're not taking care of yourself, then you're not going to be able to help anybody else. This is why I'll take a month off, and I'll be like, I can't do any rituals this month, or I can't do any readings this month, because my body is like, Daisy, you worked really hard. It's time a break, girl. You need to go hermit. Or sometimes it's because I'm writing a new book and stuff like that. Even this class, I've been kind of working towards it since September, and I knew some of it. I knew about the lifestyle that we're going to build in the first 5 days or a week, scripting the little ideas and themes that we're going to go along with the 6 weeks that you're going to be a part of. But then I didn't think about the introduction until Spirit says, this is your introduction. So this is kind of the way things work for me. So I'm very synchronized and guided, and I live a very purpose-driven life towards my goals and my intentions. And if I were to share the background, you would be like, how the fuck does she do this? How does she find time, energy to do the things that she has to do with so much going on, It's because of the energy of decision. It's making the decision that regardless of the outside noise, regardless of the chaos, regardless of what everybody else is going through, I'm going to do this because this is what I want to do, and this is the outcome that I declare and that I desire to see in my now reality, right? You can't see it here, so I'll probably take a picture of it. So in the Language of Money class, I shared the vision board, and of course we're gonna have a vision board party, so I'm not gonna talk about it here, but I do a lot of visual because there's just something magical about seeing. Our eyes see and our mind takes in, and when we make a decision, of what it is that we want. We work towards it, and we do not allow anyone to kind of bring their dirty feet into our plan. You know, even if they do, it's stopping them and be like, hold a minute, stop there for a second. I'm working on this. Like you're gonna laugh at this. So I don't know if you guys have watched The Big Bang Theory. So Sheldon is like this kind of like OCD, I control everything type person. I feel like maybe in reality, if it was a real Sheldon, he'd probably be like, I don't know. He is a genius, but I feel like he has also some kind of maybe mental disorders because of the way he's trying to make everything the way he wants to make it. So he builds a relationship with Amy, and he creates a contract. He creates a contract because he knows that he's not the most fulfill your needs type of man. You know, he's not very sexual. He's not very lovey-dovey. So he created a contract. So there's a compromise in, you know, taking care of her and also his time, his work, you know. And I find that sometimes relationships need this compromise, and maybe in a way that you write it so they could see, okay, you know, so I'm planning to do this with my own husband because I feel like we are out of kind of like a fork road where I'm wanting certain things and he's kind of like stuck. So, you know, there's just certain things that I feel like maybe it's because I'm almost 50 and I want certain things. So it all really emanates from the decision of what it is that I intend and I desire. And then doing my scripts, because I'm constantly scripting. I script every day. I journal every day. So doing this work and then going into the shadow side of what do I see that is blocking me from manifesting. So my decision of the desire that I want is create my classes, right? Live off of my content and my classes and have more leisure time and enjoy my crafting. Because if I'm able to create a course that takes so much time and effort and energy, right? That usually will take me like months to create, because like I said, I started really co-creating this in September and we're in December, right? So think about all the energy that goes into what I co-create. So being able to create courses, classes, books, but then having them autopilot, right? So that I'm able to focus more on the things of my leisure, my crafting, my time with family, maybe writing more books. You know, these are my decisions of what I decide. What happens after the decision? So today you have a printable. And I think it says my decision is, or this is what I have decided. And I want you to really, really think, because what we're going to be doing in this scripting class is working on the lifestyle. I think before I did a lot of what are your intentions, add 5 intentions, 13 intentions, whatever the fucks. But I've never really worked on the lifestyle. You know, what lifestyle do you want? You know, in my language of money class, we're going to work on a wealth lifestyle, but it's catered to who you are, to what is wealth defined for you. So I think it's so beautiful that I have both of these classes, right? One, all wealth and money, right? Emanating that language and vibration, right? And one, co-creating the lifestyle. So even if you're not part of the language class, you are still being able to co-create prosperity, because it's about the lifestyle that you want. And if having a certain amount of cash is part of the energy and vibration, then that's part of it, right? So you are going to be doing exercises. I give you prompts, audio rituals to really, really emerge out of that shadow energy, out of that darkness, out of that murky mud, because sometimes it's not your murky mud, you know? I notice in my own life that all of the things that are happening around me are not about me. They're not about me. And I sit down and I look at them, and it's stuff that my son goes through, my mother-in-law, my husband, and then clients. And then it took me a long time to really emerge from that murkiness, from the others' shadows, you know, my mom, just, you know, my brothers, you know, and I get it. As a healer, I attract people that need healing, you know, and these are people that are immediate family, close friends. This is why I don't have a lot of friends, you know. I have like my soul cousin that I connect with. We understand each other. He knows that when I need time off, like he feels it, and he won't call me or message me, because he understands, and we have this beautiful relationship because of that. But I'm sharing this with you so you could find your emergence, so you could set the decision today. And this is really, really powerful. And this is not a one-day thing. You could like decide today and melt tomorrow, and then you're gonna have to decide again the next day. But the reason I'm sharing this with you is because I want to tell you that it's okay. It's okay to make this decision every single freaking day for the next 365 days. You know, it is okay to have the days that you're just going to fucking melt because your mother-in-law is driving you crazy, or your partner is not understanding and seeing eye to eye. So in this decision making, like I said, things are going to come up that are going to align you and show you what it is that you have to do to co-create your lifestyle. For example, like I said, me and my husband are in a crossroads. I'm shifting one way and he's kind of stuck. And it's like, he's not understanding that I can't do certain things because I'm living a new lifestyle. And this is no longer part of that lifestyle that I'm trying to achieve. So by me, and it's super funny how spirit talks to us, and you know, somebody else probably wouldn't have recognized it, but sometimes spirit talks to you through things that spirit knows what you're engaging in. If you're on TikTok, if you're watching TV, if you're reading books, if you're talking to random people, whatever you engage in, spirit will voice to you what you need and what you need to act on. So I think it's super funny because there were different episodes that spoke about this relationship contract. And you know, sometimes if you're, especially like, and I'm sorry my guys, but it's so true, men, unless they're connected with their divine feminine, they tend to be very masculine and very dominant, and this is how it is, and I need this in order to do that, and they just build excuses upon excuses before they take action. Or worse, sometimes they put everything on you, which in my case, that's what my husband does. He kind of puts everything on me, and then I'm the one that makes the decisions. I'm the one that's responsible for every fucking thing, everything. And then you just pile some more shit on it, and it's just like, oh, she's got it. And it's to the point that you're like, wait a minute, no, because how am I supposed to do all this? And yeah, I do bend time, but how much time do I want to bend? You know what I'm saying? So it's being assertive enough to saying, I love you, but no, you know, and declaring that these are the changes that I need to be made, and we need to come to a compromise, or we need to go our separate ways, you know. And it's being the bigger person to acknowledging that sometimes it's not meant to work, you know. And if you're in a relationship with someone for whatever, because sometimes it's like, oh, we've been together for this long, and you know, and there's no bending, there's no leeway, there's no compromising, you're always just like shush and go, then when is it the time to saying enough is enough? I need to find a new door, I need to find a new branch. And I'm the first one is always telling you guys, don't put up with certain things, it's not fair to you. If you're wanting XYZ and your significant other is not giving it to you, well, when are you going to make the decision to have a sit down with them, a real sit down? And here's the thing is, and this is why I feel like the written is so important and why I'm taking my time with this, because divine masculine men, they don't want to hear it. They do not. I could write a book on that. They do not want to hear it. They have their ideals. They think that because if they buy you one day a gift, or they buy you a flower one day, and this is like one day, like once a year type shit, or once every 2 years, that everything is okay, that everything is fine. But they don't and then I think it's super funny, because then when the shit hits a fan and the woman leaves or finds somebody else, then they freak out, way back when I was super young, I knew, through my husband, a couple, and she was all about her husband. They had their first child together, and all about husband and church and taking care of him and making sure he ate and everything, the husband. But she felt unwanted. Like, she felt like he wasn't taking care of her. He didn't take her out. He didn't make her feel beautiful. And I'll never forget it. I think it was in her mid-20s, and I remember that she decided, she got up one morning, and he says that, he goes, I don't know what happened. She got up one morning, decided to leave. And it's like, you don't know what happened, but it's been happening. So it's like, people don't realize that it's not one moment. Usually when things like that happen, these people have been thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it and going it over and over and over in their head, and giving hints and expressing, and they're not getting it. So when you make the decision to break a relationship, leave a job, start a new career, exercise regimen, whatever it is that you're trying to do to create this lifestyle, you should be able to do it, because I feel like as earthly angels, because I'm like that too, it's always like, oh, well, they need me. Oh, well, what are they gonna do if I'm not there, if I don't do this, if I don't do that, because and they're gonna be fine. They're gonna be fine. We also knew a couple, elderly, of course, but she wasn't that old. She was like maybe almost 60, and she was the one that did everything, took care of everybody. The husband was the sickly one, cooked for him, cleaned for him, took care of him. All the stuff in the house. Every time the kids needed something, she was there, and she passed away. And then one of the kids had to take the dad, and take over everything. And it was chaotic and stressful and crazy, because they were used in mommy does everything. And I feel like it's because humans do not understand that life is very fragile. Their life is not meant to be forever. That we have a beginning and we have an end. And we're one day 19 and we're one day 100, I seen this in my mother-in-law, that she's like 90 and she's still trying to hold on to her 50s and 60s. My business, my this, my that, my other. I can't believe they've done this. She swears that people have done something to her, And it's because we need to make the decisions in our lives, the plans, I think it was Gandhi that says, live as if you were to die right now, but plan as if you're going to live forever. And creating this lifestyle scripting class, I'm sharing this with you because there's going to be a lot of truths that are going to come out. Not everything's going to be like, oh, butterflies and cherries. You're going to go through energies and roller coasters. You know that if you've seen the work that I've been doing, I take you from that sludge energy and I really break it down for you to get into that trauma, that experience, that situation. There's moments that I do this and I'm sobbing. I'm sobbing because I feel all this emotion. I feel all this energy. I feel all of this sludge just kind of coming out and pouring out and purging that out of me, right? And then I get into the, well, I'm deciding that from today on, this is what I'm going to do. I'm deciding that from this day on, this is going to change. and then taking the action steps towards that, you know, towards those changes that I want to create and witness in my life, you know. Because if we just kind of like, my dad used to say that shrimp like to kind of like, when they're first born, they're kind of born in the little seaweed, you know, like the eggs are. You ready, mommy? Sorry, I have to take my daughter to work. So the shrimp, you know, kind of like doesn't, you know, kind of like goes wherever the sea takes them. So it's not being the shrimp. It's making that decision of what it is that you intend to do and taking action towards it. And that's what we're going to do. So today, sit with your printable and really think about what you're deciding, because today is that strong energy of deciding what's next. Namaste.